I suppose we should start with the earlier kickoff, which was Chelsea against Bournemouth. And maybe actually in particular on the heartbreak for Reece James, where Chelsea manager Graham Potter says he has his fingers crossed that his knee injury is not as serious as it was prior, because he was out for over a month with the knee injury he picked up in the Champions League when they were facing Milan, and that ruled him out of the World Cup, as we now know. It was his first start back for Chelsea then since that knee injury, and had to go off with around about 53 minutes on the clock. I mean, I was watching it, and you just have that low feeling, don't you, when you see someone go down after an injury that has been a problem for them, and he himself looked emotional as well. Yeah,
I think you just know when a player puts his hands over his eyes, you know he's coming off. You know, it's an injury that's not good, and you've got to look at it as, has he come back too soon? You know, was the injury ready for him to get back? He looks like a young, hungry footballer who doesn't want to be on the treatment table, probably pushing the physios. I want to come back quicker. I want to come back. I'm okay. And he was for 50 minutes, and then him to go down like that is disappointing. And hopefully just a little tweak. You know, it's not as bad as the first injury, but just frustrating for him, frustrating for Chelsea, because when he's in the team, they're a total better team. I mean, Azpilicueta can do a job, but he's no Reece James. So disappointing for everyone in all parties. So hopefully you can get that scanned, and it's just a little tweak. Yeah,
especially as well, Gabby, when you looked at some of the performance of yesterday's match, so much was going down that right-hand side for Chelsea. He's so instrumental.
Just dangerous, isn't he? You know, when he gets the ball and he's doing his 1-2s with Sterling and he's putting in deliveries. You look at the teams now that have got a right-back like Reece James. You look at Trent. You know, you look at Cancelo, who can play left or right at Manchester City. That's such a dangerous position now. If you've got a top right back with quality, it can make a difference.
As I say there, that was probably the only negative maybe for Chelsea after that win over Bournemouth. When you look back to prior to the World Cup, things hadn't quite ended as well as Chelsea would have liked with Graham Potter at the helm, of course. They'd lost their last 3, hadn't won in 5 as well. So there was a bit of pressure on him coming into this game. Bear in mind that Bournemouth, Gary O'Neill's first game in charge since being made the permanent boss as well. There could have been a bit of a resurgence with that as a factor. What did you make of Chelsea? Did they look much better than the Chelsea we saw prior to the World Cup?
When I look at that game, I think before the game, what do you expect? You expect a Chelsea win. Yeah. And that's what you got. You know, Chelsea they looked sharp. They looked up for the game. But if you said before that game, Chelsea were going to win 2-0, you'd be like, yeah, it's about right. Bournemouth weren't very good. I don't think their 2 up front worked with Kiefer Moore and Solanke. You know, they didn't have very, very good games. But Chelsea, that was a must-win, Natalie. You look at the table, they're still 16 points behind Arsenal. That is unacceptable. For Chelsea to be 16 points behind Arsenal. You look at the top 4 at the moment, 30 points. Spurs, game in hand, yes, but they're 6 points behind Spurs. You know, Fulham are 2 points behind them. That game was so important yesterday to get a win. Didn't matter about performance for me. It was about, you need to start winning games, because if you don't, you could end up not even finishing in the top 6, never mind the top 4. The pressure's on for these teams. Newcastle aren't going nowhere. Brighton aren't going nowhere. You know, to get in the top 4 this season is a massive achievement for every team, I'd say, apart from Manchester City.
The battle for top 4.
It's crazy.
You mean you're going down to Chelsea? Could you even include someone like a Fulham? Maybe not top 4, but could you include them as certainly a team that could upset some of the teams 100%, in the top 4?
No one wants to play Fulham at the moment. I mean, obviously Crystal Palace had a man sent off, which didn't help their cause. Yeah, 2 sent off, which didn't help their cause. But Fulham just looked like that team that, no, we're not scared of anyone. We're gonna press you high. We're not gonna sit back and get everyone behind the ball. We're gonna have a go. And that's how we're going to stay in the Premier League this season, is having a go. But everyone above Fulham, you'd say, are going to be fighting for them positions. And my team, Aston Villa, you know, they've got ambitions to be trying to get into Europe. So have West Ham. Look where West Ham are. Wolves. Do you know what I mean? Maybe not this season, but they've got ambitions of playing European football. You've got all these owners that own these clubs now who want to be playing European football, but we haven't got enough positions. So it's a proper battle. You know, everyone's probably looking at it like, Newcastle will, you know, they'll start losing a few. No, they're not going to. Brighton, I think they're there as well to battle. So Chelsea know that they've got to just keep winning games. Yeah. They have to. Natalie, because a club like Chelsea, this owner they've got, fifth or sixth. It's not going to happen.
No, it's not acceptable.
Had to sack all the fence.
Well,
I feel like you're getting sacked if you don't finish in the top 4 for Chelsea. Graham Potter.
Well, they've got some big games coming up. They've got Forest away on January the 1st, but then they've got Manchester City at home on January the 5th. That'll be interesting to see where Chelsea are at with Graham Potter trying to work his magic with this Chelsea side. Kai Havertz was the preferred option going forwards for Chelsea. What does that mean for Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang? Or is it that not necessarily that it's a case of you're not really in my thinking, but maybe you're more of an impact player now with Aubameyang, and Havertz is my preferred choice with Potter?
I think it's just Graham Potter come in and Aubameyang wasn't his man. You know, Arsenal got rid of him. Done okay at Barcelona, nothing special. He's coming to Chelsea as sort of a panic buy, really, from Thomas Tuchel. And Graham Potter's probably looking at it like, not being funny, like where Chelsea want to get to, you can't be relying on Aubameyang. Because sometimes I watch him and I'm like, oh, he looks off it, doesn't look as quick anymore, doesn't look as interested, doesn't press as much. Havertz looks like a player who wants to keep improving. He's young, he needs to be scoring goals, he wants to be the main man, and he showed yesterday his movement for the goal he got from Sterling was like a proper number 9. And if he can get coached right, you know, by a striker coach, for instance, he's got the attributes. He can hold the ball up. He's big. He's strong. Good in the air. He's quick enough. He can make runs in behind. So I think Nkunku is signing. I think, but he's injured obviously, and I think he signs in the summer, maybe. So once he comes in, you know, he's going to help that Chelsea front line. But for now, I think Aubameyang will be a player that comes off the bench. Yeah. And is that what he probably wants now? Not really, but I'm sure Graham Potter will try and get him on board and say, you know, we're still going to need you this season.
Well, Havertz was also involved in the second goal because it was his ball back to Mount, who obviously scored that second goal. He
was very good, Mason Mount.
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was very instrumental.
He was very,
for them.
very, very good. Yeah.
And it was, but at first goal, I think I was hearing since at Stamford Bridge since December 2022.
Strange. Some of these stats are strange.
Not 22, 21, I should say.
When I look at him and I think the performance last night, you'd think he should be scoring more goals.
It can't be right.
So
I'll have to check that stat out.
So
that
technically good.
Right. I know. I totally agree with you. But he played brilliantly. And that first goal, in case people weren't quite aware, there were 26 passes involved in that before it got to Havertz to put it in the back of the net.
If I was playing in that Bournemouth team, I'd be like so frustrated at the rest of my team because it's just unmarked. You've got the numbers back. You know, sometimes like as a striker, you look back and you're like, someone pick him up. Like, but how can he be on his own? Don't all run to by the goalkeeper to defend the box. Sometimes look at the players on the edge of the box. It's so frustrating sometimes because Mason Mount shouldn't be on his own outside the box.
Just a final word on Bournemouth then. Still very much the bookmakers' favourites to go down. They're 14th at the moment. They're 3 points clear of the bottom 3. Okay, on paper, you'd have, like you said at the start, most of us would have gone, well, it's a Chelsea win at Stamford Bridge at home. We're expecting a Chelsea win. Was there any kind of positives that Bournemouth could have taken from that game?
The only positives I'd say was that they didn't get beat 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
You know, they didn't roll over. They're stuck in there. They were fighting. Some talented players come on. I thought for them, look sharper than the ones that started. So I think they'll be around the bottom 3, but there's a battle. I mean, Bournemouth
battle
will be
at the top, battle at the bottom.
Yeah, Bournemouth will be looking at like our Leeds better than us, or West Ham, or Everton, Wolves, Forest, Southampton. I think there's 3 out of like 6 or 7 that'll be down there. And if he can get some money, new owner coming in, if Bournemouth can give Gary O'Neill some money to, you know, maybe a centre midfielder, another defender.
They've got a new ownership now,
exactly.
Haven't they,
so maybe it's time for them to spend because they've got a great chance of staying up.
Indeed.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.